Alrighty. I think we're ready to go.
Wonderful.
And let's just take a quick look at the bracket. A little more of a casual pre-stream. Not really even a pre-stream. I don't know much I can tell you that hasn't already been said. Still in round one. Of course, did a race about 3 hours ago, and Plywood moving on into the semifinals.
Hey guys.
And we're running just a little bit late. I don't think I've ever started one of these on time, but today it's actually my fault. I had to go out to dinner and I was going to get something quick. Ended up getting a steak. So you guys can blame me for that.
Blame ribeye steaks.
We can turn down a steak. But of course, I know these guys are chomping at the bit. They've been ready to go for the last 45 minutes, and so let's do it. Have a race. I know these guys are both pretty new to this game, but you can never really underestimate these guys who are learning. Because at least in that the MGS1 tournament, we had Apples just come out and surprise everybody with a no continue run. So we'll have to see how this goes. I really can't handicap this one because I don't know these guys well enough. So I'm just gonna go. It's a coin flip. The coin flip. Whatever side it lands on, that's who wins. Obviously, it's gonna come down to whoever gets to that score screen first. But yeah, let's go ahead and let these guys know it's time to go.
Alright, I'll let them know. I think personally, I would, jesusgeuse is kind of an unknown factor to me. I haven't seen him play the game, so I'm going to give the edge to Mac since he has been actively running the game. More very easy, but he has been, he's dipped his toes into normal. So, and Max saying in the SRL chat that he almost put it on very easy, which, good thing he didn't.
Yeah, that would be cheating, and he'd be instantly disqualified and banned from MGSR for life.
Yep, it would be it would be a very brutal and quick end to his career. Thus, we're just kidding.
Absolutely, he's just kidding.
Oh, yeah, I'm kidding. Forensic
okay, are you
totally
watching? You got the Speedruns live page open, right?
I do, sir, I do.
Okay, can you count it down for me? That's one more page to get enough pages open.
Of course.
Jesus is setting his options to previous. Something that we've all, everybody who runs this game knows that that's pretty important. All of us have forgotten to do that.
And it looks like they are both ready. The race will begin in 10 seconds. I'll be giving you the countdown as well, sir. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! We are off with second match of round 1. jesusgeuse versus MackMcD. And I believe Jesus is on Xbox 360, which is something I don't say very often on a daily basis, that Jesus is on 360. But Mac over here is on PS3. And one of the little things about running HD collection is that PS3 actually is faster in terms of loading compared to an Xbox 360. Though it does depend on the model number of your PS3. However, it's generally agreed upon in the community that the PS3 version has a bit of an edge on load times. It's like we're seeing just standard fare, Mac running up to the door, taking the shot, but jesusgeuse getting kicked down, and rolling through the guard. That's a good improvisation to deal with getting kicked there. So what do you expect to be the trouble points for runners, Forensic?
Well, straight off the bat, being an MGS2 runner, and I know I've never really dabbled in normal at all, but you got to get out of tanker. I mean, that's just, I know everybody goes, well, that's only, 7 to 11 minutes, depending on what you're playing on. But you got to get out of tanker. So whether you get right Olga or left Olga, you get first Olga, that's a good Olga. Mac is making his way up the top of tanker. Start his Olga fight here.
I've actually never seen someone run on a 360. It'd be interesting for me, that kind of perspective.
Yeah, we all kind of forget that this game was actually released for, at least the HD collection was released for what were the current console generation at the time, 360 and PS3.
It looks like Mac had a successful left Olga loop. Very nice job. Jesus also getting the left Olga. Let's see if he can pull it off. Got the first shot off. And he missed the second one. Just adjusted a little bit too much right. And that right there be big cost, because now you gotta fight Olga normally. That could potentially turn into a lot of trouble. And already we're seeing the difference in load times. Whenever you see that logo appear, the game's trying to... It's kind of like everyone's trying to set up the scene in the background for a play. That's what that logo's pretty much doing. Being like, hey, it's the game. Just hold on a little bit. I've already seen that logo several times, and unfortunately seeing that back Olga at this point in the fight, it pretty much becomes a complete slog fest. You don't really know what's going to happen. When you run this game, you don't want to get to this point, because Olga starts moving unpredictably. See that cartwheel, throwing grenades, all kinds of random stuff that we don't like. As Mac is making his way down the tanker.
So far, so good for Mac. And unfortunately, Jesus is caught up in full Olga fight here. And, we'll tell you that there's some RNG here. But we only memorized the first 4 moves or so of that various sets of RNG. It looks like he got out of it finally.
Yep, that's Olga for you. It can be a very challenging point, especially learning, where we want to make the fight as scripted as possible when we run the fight, whether you're on normal, extreme, very easy, it really doesn't matter. You want to have the fight planned out.
It's a pretty well-designed fight. At some point she shoots a tarp in her way, to block where you can see her. She'll adjust the spotlight, blinds you if you look towards it. But yeah, you really want to take care of her before she gets into that phase.
Yeah, it's definitely a testament to the thoughtfulness of the boss design, that they were making bosses like this in 2001 with all these lighting effects, dynamics, and jesusgeuse actually getting the roll past the camera, but getting kicked down. So he got part of a fast strat down, but that guard got in his way.
Fortunately, he's in evasion mode now, so he's going to be dealing with some guards on the way down. Probably just slow him down. I don't think he'll have to make a continue here.
No, it's just going to be a few seconds, because every time you get shot, it's about a half a second of hit stun, and then you get knocked down like that. So getting the alert there is very costly. Mac's about to start guard rush. See how Mac handles this.
Looks like he's going with a non-lethal strat here. Need to line up his headshots. Standing right out in the middle, taking shots.
And that is the nice thing about normal. You really don't have to worry about getting hit. Whereas on Extreme and European Extreme, getting hit can be very costly. Looks
Depends
like
on how
Jesus is resetting engine room, dude.
Yeah, he's gonna have a different RNG, or excuse me, a different guard pattern going through it the second time. Not a lot of us really practice that second in guard pattern.
We'll see how he handles it. Max out of the guard rush, and now I think he's gonna go for the ladder glitch, one punch buffer. See how he handles the exit, and he nails it.
That was a beautiful ladder glitch.
Yeah, totally on point.
Really doesn't get any better than that with the one punch buffer.
Yeah, one punch buffer, and
right, we're gonna go through hold 2. This is a run killer for a lot of people. Mainly just holding up this last guard.
Thankfully, there is a backup strategy if that guard turns around, but... Oh? Look at that. Nice and snazzy from Mac, not even bumping into any guards. You can see that practice paying off.
Oh, is he going to go for the 2-shot camera? Or 2-spot camera? Yeah, it looks like he's trying.
Yeah. Mac's just trying to expand his lead with strats like this. 2-shot camera. You position yourself in 2 specific spots and try to get those photos lined up. Because the way the photos work in this game, I think it has something to do with the Rex model itself. Causing it to not be a static thing like the Marines logo is apparently on the front of Rex, which it really isn't, but certain angle of the camera and a certain position tricks the game into thinking, oh yeah, that's the Marines logo.
Which is usually the hardest one to get casually.
Exactly, that's the funny part. Like, that's the one where you have to sneak by a guard and move really close to Ray. But in the speedrun, it's actually very straightforward. I'm sorry, guys. I know. I realized I was about to say Rex again. That's the Metal Gear Solid
I didn't even
1.
catch you there.
Yeah, he didn't catch me. So at
you
least
triggered chat.
Yeah, someone told me to task. It's everyone in chat being like, "How could you? This is not Metal Gear Solid 1. I'm sorry.
He's an MGS1 guy. Go easy on him.
Yeah, exactly. I'll try to remember. Right.
It's a Metal Gear, okay?
Yeah, it's Metal Gear. Something.
Metal Gear starts with R. Right. Jesus is just starting guard rush here, and he's also going for the M9 strat, non-lethal.
But he's way in the back.
In the back there. Second box.
But he gets I think it's to pick up that extra stuff in the rear there. We see Mac starting a plant here, going through the docks.
That was a really good tanker by Mac. Really some seasoned moves there. He used the USP on the last 3 guards in guard rush. He got the 2-spot camera. First try ladder glitch with the 1 punch. I mean, all that stuff is...
Left side Olga as well.
Yeah, those are pro strats.
Yeah, he really dominated in terms of his own performance and execution. Oh, no. The death on guard rush. That is some rough stuff. Yeah,
Those were the last 3 guards too.
Yeah, then got to start the whole rush all over again.
So far, an early lead for Mac.
Pretty commanding so far, but guys got to remember there's a lot of things that can go wrong in this run. There's so many rooms in this game where one false move can cause a lot of time loss.
Mistakes in MGS2 can kind of be exponential. Like, it seems small and you get out of the room, but then you're dealing with another room full of guards and alerts, and it just is a slow, painful death on your way to killing a run.
Definitely. I mean, you get an alert in a room. There's not a the next room you go into isn't clearing the alert or whatever. I mean, that's just a cascade domino effect. He's going for those groin shots. That's quite a statement. Quite a way to go out for those terrorists.
It appears that Mac has done his homework. Been a good student, and he's been studying. Ready for the test.
Yeah, Mac, give everyone a little bit of background on Mac. He is been running a lot of PC port. That's a substance version of this. And as far as we know, unless NVIDIA Shield proves us otherwise, it is the fastest version to play with the fastest load times and essentially no lag. So it's a bit of a different experience running on PS3 in comparison. Because of that, you have to be able to adjust accordingly, especially with fights such as Harrier, Rays, not Rex, the Rays.
Yeah, this was just a different era of games. You know, nowadays, if somebody comes out with a AAA game and it's got any sort of frame drops in it, the internet will just go nuts. But back in 2001, you could release games that if it ran and it didn't crash, that was releasable.
Of course. And I mean, the thing was that this game was pushing PS2 hardware, and Jesus having some trouble on Hole 2. This is a good representation of how Hole 2 can be really rough. To get it fast, your movement has to be super crisp and be able to get those good lines, hold up the guards.
Hole 2 can be maddening.
And he's just, he shot into the box, and that caused the guard to hear it. And when that happens, you're kind of boned. It's hard to make an adjustment after that. This hold, I think, for a lot of the more veteran runners of this game, it's pure muscle memory. Pure muscle memory of like when to hold up the gun, when to swap to the other weapon, or shoot the trank gun, etc. Mac's now approaching Strut C to meet up with Stillman.
You may know better than I, but is he going to be using the reverse bomb disposal strategy?
I don't know. I don't know if he's I mean, it's definitely the strat for very easy now. It's definitely faster on very easy. However, I don't know if Mac has been doing it for normal. He's been practicing for this tournament, so it's going to be interesting. I didn't notice because I've been paying attention to Jesus holds, whether he picked up the chaff. Max says no. So
that's our answer then. And I caught myself in the last one saying reverse. You're allowed to go either way. It's not necessary. It's just reverse of what we had been doing for the last decade or so.
Yeah, exactly.
Going counterclockwise is just the way you do bomb disposal.
It's definitely the way you want to do it on extreme, but we see that Mac's gonna stick to counterclockwise. I mean, both routes have their advantages and disadvantages, their trouble points. I'd say the tough part about counterclockwise is EF bridge on normal, because you don't have a box, you can't turn well around those corners. Claymore, you gotta be very careful about when you enter the bridge. When you do clockwise bombs, you actually completely skip having to worry about it. And Jesus getting his way out of tanker. We're now both riding. Both riding, boys. You're gonna cartwheel their way to victory or defeat.
Yeah, I really like Raiden. I like him as a speedrun character. The reason that I wanted to run this game is that Raiden feels like a speedrun character. He's faster. He's more agile. He's athletic. The game handles well too. I mean, for having an outdated camera system, the fixed camera, I believe Kojima probably could have done a 3D camera back then. but he wanted the games to feel, you know, like a trilogy. So he wanted to stick with that fixed camera, and you get really used to that after a while.
And I mean, Solid Snake in this game definitely feels sluggish if you compare him to Raiden. Raiden's movement set, being able to cartwheel, and it's faster than the roll Snake does, so you always want to find those pockets, cartwheel, and you'll save some frames every time you do it. In a straightaway, it'll save, like, I think from, like, some really basic stuff, it was like a second or something, half a second, like in a long straightaway, but every time you do it, you will save a few frames. As long as you don't cartwheel into a wall.
Or into a prone position. Happens sometimes when I hold the button down a little too long.
Absolutely. And Mac entering strut F. Definitely one of the more challenging rooms in the game. Let's see how he handles it. And he's going to go for the coolant strat to distract the guard. Picks up the M9. Shoot the guard and cartwheel into him. Take him out. Let him take a nice little nap on the floor. Jesus goes for a PPK to knock out these guards, but gets knocked down by the left guard, goes for the judo throw. This is a bit like Benny Hill right now. But it's
a number of ways to get out of there.
Yeah, you could throw them, you can distract them, you can knock, kill them. There's a lot of different ways to deal with those guards on normal. Less so on you have to be a bit more careful with them.
At this point of the game that Jesus is at, he's got no weapon options. So distractions, PPKs, anything you can do to get out of there. Remember, casually, taking hours to figure it out.
So have you ever played the Xbox Friends?
You know, I had an Xbox 360. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and it's sort of a Microsoft city, especially, you know, just not a lot of PlayStation guys. Most of my friends were Microsoft, and so I had a 360. I just never got this game for it. Didn't get a PS3 until real late in its console cycle. Just about a year or two after this game came out, the remaster came out for PS3. But yeah, Bluepoint did a real good job. I mentioned in the last stream that Bluepoint did a real good job on this remaster. All new textures and 60 frames a second. It runs real good. You know, there's some remasters out there, including Silent Hill, that didn't turn out so well. But it appears that they had an easier time programming it to that PS3's cell processor, what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just a funky game. I'm sure the code for this game, the PS2 was tough to program for. It had a proprietary CPU GPU combo, and yeah, I can imagine porting this game is probably not that fun. You know, most games now for modern consoles, PS4 and the Xbox One, all use off the shelf equipment. Fairly
they're
easy to
essentially
program
just
for.
computers. Apparently, how Bluepoint goes about making these HD collections did MGS, and they did the Shadow Colossus Ico as well. They reverse engineer themselves, retail copy, and work. Mac doing a nice little knockdown trick, strut D, cartwheeling away to get himself in position to get a nice shot off on the guard. Very, very swanky strat coming out from Mac. Very swag, I would say. There's a lot of little funny things you can do while still running very fast in this game. I think Mac just showed off one of them.
I don't think I've seen anybody do it like that before.
Yeah, it's different, right? And that's one of the beautiful things about this, is the variance in strategies. You see Mac, he dropped down, the guard noticed him, he stands back up, and the way Raiden comes from a rail, he knocks whoever is in front of him. Does like a flip. Very athletic flip. That'll
ninja-like flip that he does coming off that railing.
Mac finally done with his circle, back to strut C to pick up sensor and head to Fortune.
Yeah, so far no continues for Mac. Showing some swagger.
Pretty clean gameplay from Mac. You have to give him kudos just for the difference in feel the HD collection has to some degree. Though that becomes more apparent, especially in the boss fights. Not so much in these room-to-room situations, besides the load times being a little bit different. Man, load times on 360 are rough. I've never watched a 360 run, and you can see how much that logo pops up. Whenever that logo pops up, that's the difference between DVD and Blu-ray, huh? Right there.
Yeah, I think that's really the bottleneck there.
I think it's pretty interesting too, when you consider, at the start of this console generation, the last console generation, a lot of people dismissed the PS3 due to the price point. It seemed very ridiculous at the time. What they were offering, Blu-ray was still kind of in its infancy. Not really an accepted storage device. Now, later on, Xbox One's Blu-ray, PS4's Blu-ray, it's really become main media storage.
Yeah, it really was.
Kind of pushed it
was an expensive console, but yeah, Blu-ray really took off. And yeah, having a Blu-ray player all the way back in 2006 was pretty cool. And it was helpful to the developers because you could just store a whole bunch more data on those discs. Of course, the DVD guys ended up going with dual layer discs, but those are kind of defeats the purpose of optical disc, is going to cost more.
We all know how HD DVD went. Not well.
Probably the same route as Betamax.
I think Betamax, though, didn't Betamax, the professionals still use Betamax, right? I think it was the consumer aspect didn't work.
It was higher quality for 80s.
Poor Jesus getting grenaded, Strut A.
I forgot they could toss grenades into that center area. Mac makes his way into the Fortune fight. Played an interesting boss fight the first time through, casually. Most of the time, prepare your mind for a boss fight, so you prepare to fight the boss. When you just gotta wait her out.
Game tries to fool you with the whole, her health bar is so low. Her name is longer than her health bar. That's quite a statement there. Some symbolism with her name being so fortunate, even though she's so weak, to live so long. Max just sitting behind that crate and waiting it out. Look at all the smoke. This is a part where Mac is definitely feeling the difference between PS3 and PC. And this fight on PC, when things happen, they happen. No delay. You guys
Yeah,
have to consider this game was designed around having some amount of lag to the original hardware.
this fight, especially on PS2, is incredibly laggy. I just gotta imagine that they're really trying to get the game out. But I'm not sure I could see Kojima going, yeah, good enough. Good enough. 10 frames a second. Does it crash? No. Ship it.
Alright, good enough.
Just such a different era.
I think the thing was, in part, like, they had so much of the budget to some degree. I don't know what you'd have to really go into the development history, but some chunky portion of the budget was to the cutscenes and the design and the character models, all the assets involved to make the cinematography, the cinematics work.
I'm pretty sure it's in the design the document of MGS2, but there's a programmer that's literally yelling at Kojima. There's no way this is gonna work. What the hell are you talking about? Because he's a visionary. He can see the future. He knows how it needs to be.
Yeah, from what I could tell, he is definitely more the ideas guy, and then says, "All right, developers, fellow designers, programmers, I want you to find a new gameplay paradigm for me. I want you to do this. All right, let's do it." You know?
Yeah, he's not really even a gamer either, Kojima. Like, he'll watch somebody play the game. Yeah, he cares about how it looks. He's not really a feel guy. He wants to see the reaction of the gamer playing the game and how does the game look. I remember reading about what were they working on? I think they were working on MGS4, and somebody had gotten a copy of Halo 3 right when it came out, and it was one of the developers, and he really wanted to show Kojima Halo 3. You got to see this, man. And so they're going through the first part of Halo 3, and he goes, shoot that bush over there. And he did, and the bush, some leaves drop from it, and he goes, good, and he turns around and he walks away. that was enough for Kojima. It was just little detail things that he cares about.
Oh man, Jesus with the sliver of life trying to exit Strut E roof and no go. As Mac meets him up on the roof, but later on, Fat Man fight. Let's see how Mac handles this fight. You want to try to complete this fight before the timer ticks to 0. That's sort of the ideal thing for this normal fight. And if you're unfamiliar with how this fight works in the speedrun on normal, you want to use the SOCOM, get 2 headshots when Fat Man knocks the ground, and pretty much follow him. Ram some shots again into his bomb suit. Wait for his iframes to go away. Rinse, repeat. And Mac is showing this done pretty well. Fortunately, he missed that double shot right there. And we'll see if Mac... Looks like Mac wants to just finish him off, and he does. Right next to the bomb, which is very convenient.
Yeah, that was pretty well placed. Sure, Mac is pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with Fat Man because the way he moves is not set. He's not going to always skate the same way, so you might be fighting him across the heliport and have to go back the other way to get the bomb defused. So you have to be very thoughtful with your timing there. Looks like Jesus is getting a node. Interesting. So Forensic, what matches are you looking forward to in the rest of this tournament?
Well, we got Tyler versus Roy, right?
Yeah, we got.
And I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, the easy answer should be Tyler. Tyler is pretty much at the top of the leaderboards all across this game. He just loves this game and he plays it really well. But the thing about Tyler is Tyler doesn't have like a, he's only got 2 gears. He's got slow gear and fast gear, and he sticks it in fast gear, and the percentages of runs that he finishes at the level that he plays at is getting slimmer and slimmer. Where Roy is just dead consistent. Roy can run the same time after time after time, which may prepare him pretty well for a race atmosphere or marathon type atmosphere. But really, I think Tyler's going to be a tough one to beat for anybody in this tournament.
Yeah, facing against Tyler is definitely not something you want to do. But the thing about Tyler is, like you said, he wants to go blitzkrieg fast. Sometimes that can cause you to crash and burn. So it is definitely going to be a matchup to see how risky will Tyler play it. What kind of that's the thing about racing. There is sort of a meta to it, even though you're not really playing against each other in like a fighting game way or anything like that. You have to think about your opponent and, well, what do they think they should do? What do they think I'm going to do? And what can I do to get an edge over them?
There was a saying or joke that I used to think of every once in a while when I was racing, and it was, it's a student and a teacher. His instructor or professor are in the woods, and a tiger approaches, and the instructor says, well, what do you think we should do? He goes, well, you don't have to outrun the tiger. You just have to outrun you. And so I think about that often when I'm racing. I don't need to set world record or personal best or even, no continues. I just need to beat my opponent. That's the big thing. There's another good race with Pythonicus and Toma that we're going to do later tonight. Probably tomorrow for a lot of you guys. It's going to be 10 o'clock p.m. here on the West Coast for me. And, of course, Pythonicus has probably been working on this category longer than anybody, really, that I can think of. When I started running this game, most people were doing European Extreme, and he was pretty much the only one that I'd ever met that was doing normal speedruns. And he's been at the top of the leaderboards for a long time in this category. And, Toma is relatively new to this game. He's more of an MGS1 guy, but this guy's tougher than $2 Steak. He really puts in the time. If he sets his mind to something, he's probably a lot like yourself. He's just a quick learner and a studious learner.
I'm gonna see if Matt gets the fast approach on this guy, and I think he did. There's a little spot you want to knock to get this guard to run to where you need to go. He got it. There's a little spot the right of a line on the wall. Or I guess the left. Depends on how you feel about it. It's up the hallway. You want to knock above the line. And that'll cause the guard to run to the position of the retinal pattern cutscene. You'll be able to pull him. See what kind of RNG Matt gets as Jesus goes down to meet Fortune.
Your aims, aren't you?
Yeah, lower left-hand corner. That's still better than upper left-hand corner.
The only reason I don't like that spot is it's so dark over there. It'd be really hard to actually notice him. You have to really pay attention in that dark little shadow over there.
King.
And we want to make sure to say to everyone that we're going to always be respectful of everyone who runs in these tournaments, because it's not easy. Even if, it takes a lot of courage when you're learning a game to put yourself out there, especially in a high tension setting like a tournament.
Right, and we mentioned in the last race that you and Raichu both have racing experience, and that kind of goes a long ways. You can have speedrun experience, you can post times, and racing is different. Suddenly, there's no reset button. That's going to be the biggest difference, and you just have to continue. And sometimes you find yourself in the parts of the game that you've never been in before, situations where you just normally reset.
Mac,
but yeah, there's kind of a point to what we're doing with MGSR. We opened it up to the public about a year and a half ago, and really wanted to encourage growth. We wanted to grow the community. We wanted to get new runners. I mean, there's a learning curve to these games. It's like a lot of games, it can be quite steep. But that's sort of the point, though. And so yeah, we're real proud of Jesus for giving this a shot and for signing up in our tournament and filling a spot. We only got 8 guys in this tournament. We got 10 in the last one. Actually, I'm still pretty stoked that we even got 8 for this one. But yeah, I mean that's huge for guys like him who have probably joined the community, started learning, asking questions. That's really what we wanted to, and we knew it was going to be a lot of work. We knew we were going to need some help, some moderators, some guys writing tutorials. And so over at MGSR, really stepped up and tried to make this easy for people to do and tried to make it accessible, because I think a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it just wasn't all that accessible to get into something like this.
Exactly right, and people get surprised. I mean, you see someone starting out and they can become incredible at a game. You just have to give them time. So it's like nurturing a nice house plant,
Yeah, well, I'd say one of the best success stories I can think of is, AGDQ last year. Jaguar went and ran MGS2, and I was doing a stream probably about a week or two after, and I met Tyler, and I hey man, just go to the MGSR, jump in the Discord, we'll answer some questions for you, get you going. And he just did, he probably played the game a few times casually when he was younger, but was real interested in learning the hard strats, and now he's world record on pretty much every category I can think of: normal, European, extreme, loading trick, non-loading trick. I mean, he's just racking them up. PC, and this is only a year that he went from never speedrunning into the game to pretty much the best who's ever played it. So yeah, shout out to Tyler. But he's a grinder. I don't think I know a lot of people like Tyler who just keeps grinding the same game over and over.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent example of someone who, especially a year ago, the community was definitely at a different place from today. Smaller, more close-knit, and putting yourself out there at that time was even more of a challenge than putting yourself out here at this time, I would say. Would you agree with that, Forensic?
Yeah, absolutely. At one point it was invite only. We weren't sure we could handle new people, and be able to... it was just a matter of being able to moderate a community, and this Discord doesn't have closing hours. We don't shut it down at night. It's a 24/7 thing. So there's got to be guys on the clock all the time. And fortunately, Metal Gear Solid fans and Metal Gear Solid people who like the game, they're just good people. I mean, it actually turned out to be one of the easiest things I've ever had to moderate. I've never banned anybody, and we've kind of set up a system where we don't want to ban people. We want to give you a chance, and we want people to have opinions. We want people to discuss things, and, challenge each other. But it's and there's no rivals. Everybody's sharing strats. As soon as you figure something out, they're putting it on YouTube and sharing it and posting it in the Discord. And so this was easier than we really ever imagined it would be.
Mac missing up the 5-shot Harrier, which is the fast strat for the Harrier. Only getting the 3 shots. The 4th shot of the 5-shot Harrier is pretty challenging. Requires pretty specific positioning. And Jesus having to restart on the run to the Strut E roof. Fortunately, he died. But it looks like he avoided the Claymore very expertly, picking up that chaff grenade, so kudos to him for that. That's a very tough piece of movement right there to avoid getting hit by that Claymore. A lot of guys, they swap to their box to give a better turning to pick up that chaff, but he's like, nah, man, I can do this with I can just do this with my feet.
Yeah, let's just go for it, man. Yeah, of course, what could happen is he could either step on the Claymore or, you know, back up to the wall. But, yeah, hey, if you know how to do it. Consistent at it. Yeah, a 5-shot Harrier is pretty tough. I'm usually pretty happy with just a 4-shot Harrier. Jesus is making his way through Strut F. Way to Fat Man.
I think the other benefit of when you have new people come into a community, there's definitely a thing when you're a runner of any game, unless you're super creative and keep on challenging yourself constantly. It's very easy to fall into habits and think, well, this is the way to do something, blah, blah, blah. And when new people join a game, that allows for creation of new things. And I think that's a super valuable thing. I know for MGS1 that was definitely the case. As more people started running the game on PC and console, we had more discoveries, more strategies, and different approaches for problems. And MGS2 has that in spades because the game is so much more dynamic.
Well, I was a little worried when you started running MGS2. Yeah, you know, I like the game as it is. This plywood guy is like a disruptor.
Now
you come in here and you just start
stealth,
breaking things. Find these guys, like if God mode exploit existed on MGS2, I don't even want to know. Or, you know, we were all pretty gung-ho about in-game timers, the only way to, and then go and run Sol. Okay, well, now we need to change everything that we previously said.
I'm a troublemaker, pretty much.
You're just
my MO.
Just this disruptor who shows up and ruins everything that we love.
That's a pretty good description.
Yeah, like you said, new minds working on stuff. You know,
not for this channel. Only on my channel am I gonna.
Yeah.
Clock's ticking for Jesus. Again, a thing I would usually never say in real life. Get that bomb
take him out of context.
Oh my god, that was so close. That was so close. Do you see that? It was like probably like a few frames from frozen. Oh my lord.
I thought he got
literally, it. Oh my lord.
As plant goes up in smoke there.
So a little thing about defusing bombs, and want to aim for the corners. And from my understanding, it's because the bomb, like when you freeze that corner, it actually can hit multiple sides. And then whenever you're next to a bomb that's low to the ground, you want to be crouched. It speeds up the freezing process just a little bit. And that can make or break it, especially in Fat Man, where every second really does count.
Yeah, Fat Man can really go. I mean, you know, some of these speedrunners make Fat Man look really easy, but it can get out of hand pretty quickly with just a small mistake, where he's laying down tons of bombs on you, and he's dipping and digging and zagging and.
That is exactly why earlier you saw Mac do Fat Man. You see, getting those precise shots, those double shots on Fat Man, ending the fight before even defusing the first set of bombs, that is really key because this fight can get out of hand really quickly, and he'll just keep on laying down more and more bombs. It's even worse on extreme because I think he just has a tendency to lay down more bombs, like 3, 4, and sometimes they're just so spread apart that when he clicks that timer, it's gonna be really hard to get all those bombs to. Making his way finally out of Fat Man, as Mac is going to rescue the president.
Did he swim the wrong way? I missed that as I was watching the of Jesus's Batman. He's saying he swam the wrong way.
See how Mac handles these turrets. There's a little optimization here to only shoot out the left turret and line yourself up well enough to fire the Nikita in without taking out the other turret. Saves you a little bit of time. There's been these little change-ups along with clockwise bomb order that have optimized normal. A lot more attention to normal in recent time. A lot of that is due to Tyler. Tyler's been putting in a lot of work trying to see how far can you push normal difficulty, which has been really huge, I'd say. I mean, Python played a huge role as well. And if anyone's interested in learning this game on normal, Python has a really great starter guide that goes over the basics of movement and routing, all that kind of stuff that we have on speedrun.com. But Tyler and Python, two of the best runners, and really made huge change-ups to the route on normal. And you see some of that coming through on Mac's gameplay. These little differences. And one of those situations where both runners are in cutscenes. Yeah, you just have to kind of accept in this game that there are a lot of codecs and cutscenes. And part of running this at a high level seems really minor, but it does add up, is how well you master those cutscenes and how well you skip those codecs, fast forward through those codecs. Messing up that stuff adds up. Definitely.
Yeah, it really does.
Because there are
like you're just holding down a button. You're skipping the cutscenes with X and the triangle to automatically skip the text and codecs, but you can double hit triangle and then you're only skipping one line at a time.
See, you use triangle. I use square. Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, I double tap square. I didn't know you could even triangle. Well, there you go. Or, you know, right?
I think I use triangle. Yeah, it's triangle. As Mac is foregoing the swim glitch here.
I don't think we're probably going to see only 2 people go for swim glitch, potentially. Is my estimation. That would be Tyler and Pythonicus. I myself am not confident in swim glitch at all. It's a very tight window. Save time on that trick.
Yeah, it's really a swagger thing. You know, because most of the time it takes a few tries, and by that time it defeats the purpose of even trying it.
Yeah, and then you're really just talking about a handful of seconds. Fortunately, Jesus, trying to get that AK, but the alert sticking too long. One of the little strats that people use if they ever get alert, they actually just like fall off the edge, get rid of the alert, purge it off. Saves you a little bit of time, and not buffering that movement. That guard right there will notice you if you try to run too quickly. That Jesus just dealt with, so a lot of runners do a single punch or wait around for about half a second and then move.
Like Mac tried the lethal vamp shot. Maintained it for a couple shots, but he lost it.
Yeah, lethal vamp on console is definitely much different from PC. PC, it's like a caffeine-induced nightmare. On console, it's like the whole world slowing down around you while you inch your aim. It's a very different experience. Mac getting through non-lethal vamp without too much trouble as the backup. So, Forensic, are you going to be entering yourself in the upcoming European Extreme tournament?
I am. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Nice.
I probably would have done this one too, but I just don't know. Don't know the run. I've never given it a shot. I've always been kind of worried that it would interfere with my European Extreme run.
I mean, like, you can play the same way, really. I mean, there's only so much. It's like, because, so the people are wondering what the differences between a normal run and European Extreme run are. There's a handful of pretty big things. So, definitely take a lot more damage to get hurt in European Extreme. Some attacks even one-hit kill you, which is not the case on normal. There's really not much things that'll one-hit, if at all. Guard vision is higher, so they'll notice you and alert more quickly on European. And the way people run European Extreme, they go for the highest rank, which is Big Boss. And because of that, you're going to have to make sure you don't use a ration, kill no one, never get spotted besides the required alerts, have no continues, and a few other sort of minor restrictions that aren't likely to happen. So it's definitely a more challenging way to play the game in terms of restrictions. Normal allows for a lot more possibilities in a way because you have that lethal option, but European Extreme, yeah,
I still cringe every time I see you guys get alerts. I'm like, oh, run over. It's like, oh wait, no, it's normal.
totally fine. It's part of the stress.
It's this reflex that it triggers me. Oh no.
It would be over if you were going for rank 1. See, that's the thing. You just do rank 1 normal, and it's really not too far off. It's just that the guards don't see as well, and the ray laser won't kill you in one hit, and stuff like that. Olga won't murder you with one shot. Stuff to that degree. Oh yeah, and then the bombs are slightly different. That would, I'd say, is probably one of the bigger things. The bomb route is different. Once you enter hard and above, there's some extra bombs. And Jesus quickly recognizing, looking aims up and down, making sure that really is aims.
Get that mullet. That's a pretty good location for aims.
Definitely.
That upper right hand corner, just a few steps off from where you start. You must be aims.
You must be.
Freeze.
Mac going for the non-lethal exit, but getting an alert? Huh. It's unfortunate. Getting punched away from the door. Shell 2 can be a really big trouble spot on the exit. Can really slow you down.
Armed guards, if they see it's like an alert. Or the armored guards. Of course, Mac is just going to go ahead and reset the room.
Yep, that's doing exactly what I was mentioning earlier. When you have an alert and you're just like, screw this, I'm just going to kill myself. I don't want to deal with the alert guards. It is definitely a viable strategy on normal. You're going to lose time. There's no way around it, but it's one of those It's what speedrunners call death abuse. Using death abuse to reset a situation or somehow save time. In MGS2, it's really not to save time, it's just to sort of bring things back to...
It looks like he lost Emma there. He went to the president's room and she wasn't there. He never actually moved on him there.
Nope. Sitting by the elevator. It's definitely
Probably
a little
because of that death that he got.
bit of a setback for Mac in terms of this exit. I know this can be a very annoying part to mess up because it's so deep into the run, and messing up this escort part can really lose you a lot of time. It's not too hard of an area in the grand scheme of the whole run, but when things go wrong, they go wrong really badly.
Yeah, and of course this isn't usually something you practice either. These guards, he had to retrank them to make sure that they didn't wake up on his way back out.
I love how Emma and Raiden just casually stomp on sleeping guards.
Yeah, there's no animation where they both step over a guard, like if you're just walking by yourself.
Because Ryan's already in her. Ryan's always. I said her. Ryan's already in his animation for what he would do when he walk over a guard when he's escorting Emma. It's the same walk kind of animation cycle. Looks like Jesus forgot his sniper rifle, and that is actually a very easy thing to do. When I started learning this game, I did that quite a bit. I would just run straight for Harrier, and you can't do that, unfortunately.
I still do it.
Yeah, it's super easy to do because you're just like, all right, time to cut chase and go fight the jet. But if you don't have the rifle, you can't do it.
Start thinking of what's next. After I'm done with this, what's next? Which boss is next? Off I go.
Yep, and that is definitely something you have to be able to cope with. The Metal Gear games, MGS1, MGS2, MGS3, speedrunning these games. We tend to think of things in terms of bosses. All right, I need to go to the next boss. How did I do on this boss? This boss has a lot of time saved. This is where the bulk of the run really happened. And so it's quite easy to sort of think, all right, I need to get to Harrier. And then just forget, wait, there's other rooms I need to do before I can get to Harrier.
It's easy to get distracted too. I like to liken it to baseball a little bit. Sometimes in baseball, if you get a bad call from the ump, called a ball a strike, you can't stop thinking about it the rest of the at bat, And same thing in MGS. If something weird happens, or you're upset about the way you fought a boss, or you missed a shot that you should have made, you start thinking about it too much, and you almost distract yourself from what you need to do next. And it's just a little thing, and it spirals out of control.
Axe starting up. The sniping section, it's a pretty straightforward section, one of the more slow parts of the run, but also, like I was saying before with this escort, if you mess up the sniping section, it can be very costly because once the guards notice Emma, she's going to stop moving. Going to shoot at Emma, and then you have to wait for them to stop shooting at Emma, kill them, and then she has to stand up and start walking again. And it's actually quite costly because this section is quite long.
The way I like to put it is, still need to pay attention during this section. I know a lot of guys like to reach for their phones or check Discord or sort of multitask through here. But yeah, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you don't want to fall asleep at the wheel. Jesus trying to line up this shot. I feel like he might not know he can zoom in. And that...
Everybody zooms in. I know Python isn't a zoomer.
See, I'm a zoomer, man. Are you a zoomer?
I am too.
I thought you were.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm totally a zoomer. I don't want to chance it. It's a small hitbox.
Yeah, you blow up that cipher, you got to start all over again. But yeah, and Python's the one who does the tutorial that a lot of people watch for this game, and yeah, you might watch him and go, "Hey, it don't zoom." He didn't zoom.
We're gonna see how Jesus handles Harrier fight. Go 1, 2, 3. Oh, that third shot missed. Let's see if you can get that. Oh no, just a 2-shot. Rough. Definitely rough. Yeah, so talk about how the stinger works in this game. It is kind of weird. You want to, when you fire a shot, for the Harriers especially, you want to make sure you already see the red box locked on. And that's because if you don't have the box lock on, the stinger is going to explode earlier. It's not going to track the target. So you have to make sure you have that red box, get that lock on, and then from there, you can actually do some pretty neat stuff with your aim with Stinger. Do stuff like hook shots and pretty gnarly stuff like that. And we're seeing Burn Baby. That only really happens if you haven't done enough damage. Usually, in speedruns, we get straight to the missile phase where he launches the missiles and says die. Burn Baby is more if you've had a bit of a tough time with the fight.
Yeah, and he didn't get the 4-shot or the 5-shot at the beginning, so much higher likelihood of seeing Burn Baby. This is a brutal fight, casually, but once the speedrunners discovered infinite frames, or invincibility frames, I mean.
Infinite frames, yeah. The infinity frames. That's like staring into the face of God. He has infinite frames.
Well, he is Jesus.
That is true. We have God running right now.
Pretty lucky community that Jesus wants to hang out with us.
I know, right? I feel blessed. You guys feel blessed? I feel #blessed. But yeah, you say casually, but this fight is also rough in the speedrun as well. It takes a lot of practice. It can really make or break your run. And then you have the element of the Kasaka, and Kasaka's movement pattern is not set. And sometimes the Kasaka will troll you and just get in your way. You won't be able to hit the Harrier. And then the people in the Kasaka blame you for hitting them when they should have, been out of the way.
Yeah, just like what I said about Olga, I think it's a pretty well designed fight. I think I can imagine Kojima looking at it and going, this would be cool if it's a jet, and it hovers, and yeah, let's do the Harrier, and has all these different phases. There's a support character that's in your way, trying to help you.
Mac machine gunning Vamp's knee to death. And talk a little bit about the Harrier fight. Originally, it was supposed to be on the Brooklyn Bridge. Early design of the game, there's going to be a jet fight on the Brooklyn Bridge. It actually sounds really awesome.
It does, actually.
That sounds so cool. But really, this is sort of like how do we up the ante from the helicopter fight from MGS1? And really, you call it Metal Gear. Metal Gear 1 had a helicopter fight. Metal Gear 2 had a helicopter fight. And the MGS1 or Metal Gear 3, had a helicopter fight. So how do we up the ante? Let's add a jet.
Well, you know,
It's
in
gonna go
MGS1,
really fast.
that I'm pretty sure Kojima was pretty proud of that fight with the Hind-D. This is a really well-designed fight. It is cool. That thing's circling over your head and doing passes and...
God, I kind of saw that coming, honestly. Mac had a bit of a rough start with those cartwheels, and the positioning was just a little bit rough. It was just a bit too close to the holes, and oh no, Jesus also falling into the drink, as my friend Forensic would say, but the big drink.
I've been waiting to say that. Waiting to say it. You took it.
I'm sorry, man. I saw my opportunity. I seized it. That's the American.
Into the drink is a golfing term when you hit the ball into the pond.
Yeah, and originally that was about the pool and the docks. If you get too close.
Yeah, the bomb placement on EE is really close. And occasionally, after you do the bomb and you come out of the cutscene or come out of the codec, you want to turn around real quick, and sometimes you just end up in the drink. So yeah, we started saying that during the Saturday races. Oops, Forensic ended up in the drink, or I'm in the drink.
And Mac, after a bit of a setback with that continue, he's now transitioning into Act 3 of the game, so to speak, the Arsenal Gear section of the game. And good on Jesus. He knows about the animation cancel by swapping back and forth.
Yeah, he got the knock on that guard back there too, first try. Which pretty easy to mess up. I think even in your run you had to wait out the guard.
Yep, I messed it up. This is for me one of the areas of the game I struggle with the most, and this part, everything after aims and everything before you enter Shell 2 can be very challenging. Let's see if Jesus remembers to take off the BDU. He didn't.
It's interesting. During your race, was you took the BDU off and Raichu didn't. And isn't the most recent set of data that we have from old what's his face say that now it doesn't matter? Oh, it did.
I do not believe that. I do not believe that.
You guys both went into it at the same time, and you had the BDU on, and you came out of it pretty clearly ahead.
Brace yourself.
Like, you can say 360 load times are bad, but they are not this bad. I mean, it's hard to compare unless you had non-BDU BDU, but that situation earlier today, you can see it, man. It's noticeable. Definitely noticeable. It's not as big of a deal on something like PC, where load times are so quick that you're not going to have quite as much of a cost, but PS2, 360, PS3, all these console versions, yeah, it's big. The Mac is now entering Jejunum. Definitely a challenging spot in the final suite of rooms.
Yeah, it looks like he held select there. Able to get ahead of that guard's movement by forcing that codec early.
I think I can totally see why that would be a problem. Jesus, trying to press back on the 360 controller and actually hitting the guide button, that is, I can't even blame him for that one. Like, that's really easy. That button is so big. It's so big on the controller. It's right in the middle.
Yeah, you're not kidding. It's ginormous.
It's so big. They made the button. You compare the PS3 button on the DualShock 3, which is a little tiny circle at the bottom of the controller, and the 360 controller, it's like X. It's just like you want to press it. It's so shiny and metallic, and Oh, poor Mac.
Like,
Yeah, this-
Mac gets his third continue of this race.
Yeah, Jay Junum has been not a good spot for everyone in this tournament so far.
Been brutal today. At least he gets the gap jump. Both of you guys in the last one were struggling with that.
Yeah, and for me, I was trying to save a little bit of time by letting the camera notice me. Because if you go a little bit earlier, the camera will notice you, but you're not waiting as long. A little alert strat, but I didn't get the jump, and then it's like, this is not good. Now I have P90 Tengus on me. And P90 Tengus on you when you're naked, I don't recommend. And
we like to knock on them because they can't see that well. You're in full alert and you're naked.
good luck.
Tough one to get out of. Yeah, you just barely got out of there.
Yeah,
Right,
I was like one hit away from dying.
right next to that door, and you just got knocked down one more time. Of course, Mac is taking these required codecs. Waiting for that 49.6. Call me Rose.
So we're coming up on, you guys have not seen MGS2 speedrun before. One of the big sequence... It's more of a skip. It's not really a sequence break. I guess you're sequence breaking Tengu 1, but it's been a known glitch for some time now. I don't know how long, but several years. And what Mac is going to do, he's going to throw some stuns, likely, and run to the door. Pretty much ignore every Tengu along the way. And by doing so, he's going to go up to the door, go into first person mode, punch, punch, kick, and on the kick he's going to release first person. And by some black magic or some weird thing about how the camera and third person view works, it'll let him get past the door. It's something weird about this end.
Yeah, that leg will clip through the wall and hit the loading zone, which is not all that uncommon in speedrunning. I think it's Donkey Kong 64 uses something kind of similar to that, where they're hitting the loading zones in areas they're not supposed to be in by kind of exploiting characters clipping through walls.
It's
You can do it in other parts of the game too. You can do it on almost all the locked doors, but most of the time you'll get a soft lock. This is about the only usable place you can do it in the game.
Mac opting to AK these fools, AK these suckers before he goes into the door. Here he goes with the AK and gets it first try. Nicely done, nicely done. And you know what's interesting, Forensic? Both MGS1 and MGS2 have some way of breaking a wall or going out of the bounds of where you should be with the first person view.
Don't push yourself.
That would probably needed to be patched. Didn't get patched.
No, we don't want these patched. I mean, that's part of the design of the to be able to stand on a vent and go out of it.
Well, and you think about these games, for their time, they were like revolutionary. Wasn't copying a formula, like we're just gonna make another RPG. This was breaking new grounds. There are no other 3D stealth type games out there. The best reference they have to go off of is the early first person shooter games and early 3D games of that era. And as we know, a lot of them are pretty broken. Early 3D games are.
You can see Mac making clean work of these Tengus and Tengu 2, using the Stinger in the southern part of the map. It gives you a nice view of the battlefield.
This was meant to be a sword fight, you guys.
But they give us 40 stinger ammo, so we're gonna opt
Snake.
to...
Snake took the time to train you, and you guys just go ahead and.
I prefer the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna stick to the thing that'll blow people up. I don't need to go slice and dice people.
Olga meant for you to use the sword as a sword. Sword fights.
Hey, we still sword fight. I mean, you could punch Solidus non-lethally, but not as fast. Though it's pretty funny just to review. Like, you put the sword away and then you just start punching Solidus and dodging.
Just go head up, like like with the Ninja and MGS1.
S3 stands for Solid Snake Simulation. It's
The
a development
Mac
program
makes
to
his way
artificially
into
reproduce
the Ray
Solid
fight.
Snake, the perfect warrior. The result is
Normal,
the
it's
Foxhound
7
Commander.
health bars, right?
When Foxhound no longer exists, a
Yeah, I
simulated
believe so.
Solid
It's 7.
Snake shaped by VR regimen.
Which,
Sound like someone you know.
from running Extreme, I can definitely say that the Extreme fight is a lot more rewarding and exciting compared to normal.
And their plan too.
Just feels so, like,
Solid Snake's
truncated and
sudden
shortened.
arrival. It was
To just have
obvious the
7
Patriots were among my ranks.
rays.
I had to smoke out the agent before the mission entered the final phase.
Now, you still have to be
As
trying to have optimal strats on. It's not
Jack, those
a
days
free
when
ride to
the
the
war was
free
real
ride to the
tight
soup
combat.
kitchen or whatever. You have to still position yourself well in this fight. You still have to know where the rays are going to show up, how to aim,
You've been led
when
back
to shoot,
war
all
by
that.
Something less than real.
Yeah, it's not really a matter of dying. It's just a matter of being efficient with your positioning and shooting off grid and managing all these Metal Gears. The Jesus having a little trouble with this non-lethal Vamp strat. If you get too far away from him, Vamp will just jump back in the water. So you want to be real close to him when he starts. So he will start the knife swing, and that knife swing is real nice and long, deadly, but it's nice and long. Give you enough time to get away from him, and then reposition yourself. Get him to swing at you again before you start laying some punches into him. Yeah, sort of dances around and all sorts of things if he goes back in the water.
And the issue that Jesus is encountering is, like you said, you gotta stand in place, stand up, so he goes for the slash.
Yeah, he's
How
trying
this
to get a
meta
punch
works.
in before, and you can do that, but it's a matter of how quickly you can get out of that water before he slashes. And that was just a little too late there.
And Mac, this is definitely one of the fights where I can totally see Mac having huge shock from running PC. Rays on PC are super fast. There is no lag when shots take place on PC. The fight runs at a buttery smooth. And that might sound really awesome and all, but the issue with that is, especially if you're talking extreme and European, you gotta be extremely careful. Unintended.
Yeah, I gotta imagine the
because-
game feels pretty broken to him, going from PC to console. That all this frame lagging is pretty awful.
Yeah, because you're shooting so much, and they're shooting in response. The game just takes a huge nosedive in frame rate here. And again, it's about controlling your aim, controlling your shots, understanding where the rays are going to move to. Jesus is making his way through this. Shh. And Mac finishing up rays. But it's very true. I mean, Just because you see a strat, it's
Are you awake yet?
not as easy just doing it. You have to understand the mechanics of it, the vamp non-lethal loop.
Yeah, I used to tell people when they're trying to learn this vamp fight, just don't even worry about punching. Just see if you can get him to swing the knife at you again. Stand right next to him, and once he starts swinging it, avoid it. And then do that again. Stand right next to him, and see if you can keep him in the loop without worrying about punching. You know, once you get comfortable with that mechanic, then work your way into laying down as many punches as you can. It looks like Jesus has ended the fight now.
What do you hope to hear? You know he doesn't know anything.
Yeah, that's I think that's a really good suggestion, Forensic. Totally on point. You have to understand how he attacks you before you attack. Know your enemy, and then you can master Mac in the home stretch here. We just have one more fight on Mac's end. The Solidus fight. After that point, it's time for us to root Jesus on as he gets to the finish line. There's been a bit of a development with this final fight with Solidus on normal. We used to fight Solidus a bit differently in terms of how you fight him on normal, by spacing out yourself between Solidus for him to do the rockets, knock him down, and then rinse repeat. However, now on normal, we actually do a variation of the strat on Extreme, which is to loop Solidus in such a way that you can do attacks pretty much constantly. But it looks like Mac is doing something a little bit different. Actually, pretty similar to the older strat, and this strat still works. You still get through the fight pretty quickly, and it's all about spacing yourself out between you and Solidus. Make him do the missile attack, cartwheel in, get some easy slices off, and then roll out. That's how you do that strat.
He's baiting the missiles. Don't want Solidus to go into that fire skating sequence or any of the other phases that he'll go into. So yeah, he's using somewhat of an outdated strat here for Solidus.
Still totally a fine strat. You'll still go through the fight
still very
quickly.
effective.
But I think it's fair to explain this since I brought it up. I don't want to leave y'all hanging. But the way you want to do this fight, and it's the same thing on European Extreme, or just a different format of it since you're doing it non-lethally. The way it works is you slash on his good side where his eye is, and then he'll block an attack. And before he can counterattack, hit you move over to his bad side where his eye patch. And that's a totally intended thing, that his eye patch side is. You loop
Yeah, so
him.
instead of baiting the rockets, you're going to be slashing him and baiting his kick.
Do you remember this
which
place?
essentially locks him into a loop.
Of course. This is where we first
And
met.
Mac finishing up
I remember
this race
now.
with a
Today
commanding
is the
finish,
day.
honestly. And there were a few continues throughout the run, a few hiccups here and there, but I mean, that tanker, man, was quite the highlight. Really clean from Mac.
That really was. Yeah, I think he's got to be happy with his run. Not only just moving up in the tournament, but I think he's in pretty good shape to go against just about any of you guys.
He said all living things want their
You know,
genes
yourself,
to live on.
Python,
Are you
Roy,
talking about the baby?
Yeah,
Toma.
the genes
Tyler.
aren't the only thing you pass on. There are two.
And you.
It's pretty clear that he did his homework.
It's up to us.
And
Definitely.
to teach that
Pretty
to our
familiar with this
children.
game.
What kind of things?
About the environment, our ideas, our culture, poetry, compassion, sorrow, joy.
It's Mr. MackMcD.
We'll tell them everything together.
Pretty chill guy. He's been running MGS2 for,
Proposal?
This is for your
I think it's been like a couple of months or so. And definitely showing his experience and kept his cool, it seems, even when things went a little bit off schedule. But now we gotta bring this girl home. Now, if people are wondering why you choke Emma out there, it's not to hurt Emma. It's because she's afraid of bugs. So rather than freezing the bugs to get them out of the way, it's just faster to bring her along. Probably not in the most nice of ways, but we only choke her once or twice. She'll be okay.
And of course, as usual, we always interview the runners after these races in the tournament series. As long as they want to be interviewed. I know I talked to Mac before the race, and he said he was willing to do one. We like to give these guys a chance to talk about the race and promote themselves. And it's been a busy day for us. Our second race of the day, and we still got one more to go. Although it's not going to happen immediately after this race. We're going to start that one up here in about 3 hours. So that's going to be Pythonicus versus Toma. Metal Gear Solid Late Night. What we're doing here, and I believe that you, Plywood, will be back for this one, and possibly Tyler.
Yeah,
crew.
Yeah, we're gonna see. If not Tyler, I'm sure we'll be able to find another swell individual who can provide commentary. MGS2 After Dark, exactly.
Yeah, this is, we were talking about it in the first race, and I asked Python if that was going to be kind of weird for him. Because, hey, that's when I do my runs anyway. that's when most of the good speed runs happen, is middle of the night. But yeah, unusual that we would be doing a tournament in the middle of the night. Morning for some people.
God, no. Jack.
But
It's
that's
definitely
way
the weirdest time slot we've ever done for either tournament so far.
Yeah, these guys are some working fellas. They got work to go, so it's Toma's doing this in the morning before work, or after. I think Toma told me
after.
that he does night shift.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Toma's based in the UK and Python's based in Florida, I believe. So yeah, different time zones. But that's the benefit of doing online tournaments. It doesn't necessarily. You don't have to be in the same room for a speedrun race. You just have to organize it at the right time.
I think Python was a little bit north of Florida. I think he was actually Maine or upper East Coast.
Really? Python, can you confirm or deny the allegation that you are not from Florida?
A couple of guys from Florida. I know Jag is out of Florida. Oh, he said he's not listening. Doesn't have the volume up.
He says, I used to be Northeast, now I'm in Florida, so...
Oh, okay.
So we're both actually right.
Yeah.
Funny how those work out.
I'll let you take the win on that one. Technically he is in Florida.
Yeah, if I were to move states, I would probably say not based... Oh god, the fire! Ah! It hurts so much! It hurts so much! Oh no! The pain!
Sometimes a bit symbolic of the run, and we're obviously really proud of Jesus here, but I've definitely been positioned before. On fire, and
not in the good way.
Yeah, literally on fire.
not the NBA Jam. He's on fire kind of talking. the danger fire. But yeah, we all, by we, I'd say the channel, community, the Discord, and everyone in chat, I hope we want people. It's a struggle. Speedrunning is about failing, guys. It really is. You have to fail to succeed in speedrunning and in life. And, that's it's part of the persistence and endurance of speedrunning. Is you gotta have those rough moments. You gotta put yourself into the fire.
Literally and figuratively.
Literally and figuratively to
and
find your way
I'm
out.
really proud of Jesus for finishing this run too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because really, when it comes down to it, we do this for fun. Nobody's making a living doing this. At least not many of us are speed running. And really, it's about having fun. It looks like we're having fun. We are having fun. I'm having fun commentating these things, restreaming them. This is the funnest thing I've ever done.
Definitely fun broadcast experience, especially with Forensic, a consummate broadcaster with that voice. He really brings it all home, man.
People used to tell me that when I first started streaming. They go, "You sound like you're on the radio." And it's okay, well, you're just being nice, because then somebody else would say it who's completely different, and then other people would say it, and well, okay, I'll listen to one of my vodcasts, and I go, yeah, it does sound a bit like a radio guy.
And now, we're pretty much fulfilling that function. We're the radio broadcast commentators over these runs.
Right, you remember we did the races for a long time. We did races on Saturday, just as it was only about 6 or 7 months ago that we were doing them on a weekly basis, and it was hard for the viewers. Not everybody has the internet to go and watch the Kedgar link of 4 different guys running and be like 6 voices. We're all telling inside jokes, and the viewer experience just wasn't there. I always thought we got to get this right, and we're not making this up. I mean, if you can, if you go watch speedruns live, they have a Twitch page, and they do this sort of thing, and it's really, really watchable. They do the races. They have dedicated commentators, and the runners don't have overlays, and they're not talking over people trying to communicate with their chat. I thought it was just this really well finished product, and I went, we ought to do that. It would be really cool. And it took a while to get it going, because like I said in the last stream, there's a lot of organization going on between moderators and getting people to register and setting up schedules, and just trying to get 20 people coordinated all at the same time. And so yeah, I'm really proud of Unity for finally letting me do this, because I've been wanting to do it for a long time.
Mac finishing up his run with a 133.53. 4 continues, 50 people killed, 16 alerts, and 1 ration.
So yeah, Mac, when you're ready, I told him we'd do an interview, and he sounded like he wanted to do the interview either way. And I'll let you take this one, Plywood, because we can get him into our voice channel here.
I had to let Mac know to done in SRL.
Yeah, he was. That's his first time using Speedruns Live, isn't it? For a race.
Yeah, thankfully it was not a situation where it would have mattered, but if you don't done, the official tally is going to not be what it should be.
Yeah, I had to remind people in that MGS1 tournament that the clock you see on screen is unofficial. It's like the yellow line on a football field for first downs. American football, by the way. I assume people who are up at this hour mostly American, but I know we have a pretty good European viewer base as well. But that clock is unofficial. That is not the official timer. The official timer is on speedrunslive.com. And to start and end races, you've got to use the dot function. Dot enter, dot start, dot ready. And finally, of course, to finish, as Plywood just said, dot done. Otherwise, you're not done.
All right, I'm gonna bring Mac into the channel. Hello, is this Mr. MackMcD? Hello? Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, I hear some rustling. I hear some mic sound.
Is that it? I think we're working now.
I think we're there. It. Yeah, I hear you, man.
Okay.
Okay, so okay indeed. How do you feel, Mac? Congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much. It was an alright run. I don't have any complaints about it. That was actually, just so everybody knows, my third completed run on HDC. I did 2 practice runs on Monday. The second one I was swearing up a storm through the whole thing and swearing I would never run HDC again. So yeah, I guess all considered, I can't complain.
Yeah, we were mentioning that you were, you stick to PC in general, and making that transition to console can be pretty rough, especially with certain fights like Raze and Harrier. And how do you feel about your response in this race, at least, to those challenges?
I feel like I did all right. The stinger leg is one of the things that I like to complain the most about. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard it. With lethal vamp is definitely a tricky thing for me now, especially since I've kind of got the timing down on PC. With the audio cue, you can just time your stingers real nice, and I know there's a different weird swaying strat that's new for getting lethal vamp, and it's basically a crapshoot for me at this point. So losing lethal vamp was expected, and I'm pretty happy with how I pulled back non-lethal vamp, because that can also go haywire for me still. Non-lethal is not something I've done very often still. Like, I'm still new to this, as you guys have mentioned. I've been running it, I think, 3 months, something like that. So all told, honestly, I'm really happy with it. Harrier, I wasn't super keen on. Harrier is something that I struggle with still on PC, so especially jumping into HDC with Harrier it's something else. But I don't know. All told, this was my least salty run that I've ever done on HDC, and I don't remember what my PB was on Monday, but this very well might have beaten it. So it's hard to be mad when you get a PB in a tournament race, right?
I would definitely agree with that. I mean, we were commentating, your tanker was very clean. Had a nice one-punch ladder glitch, left side Olga that you pulled off perfectly. It was a very nice start to the run.
No, I felt the same way as I was coming out of tanker and going into plant. Mrs. Max in the room here with me, and I was just like, this is PB pace. This is the solidest tanker I've ever had on HDC by far. So I felt really, really good about the run at that point. Other than the few continues and obviously Harrier, I'm thrilled with this run. I'm honestly surprised that I got killed or alerted and certainly killed on Jujujum. I don't know how to pronounce it, but the first part of Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
That's never happened to me in any run, so that was new. But again, I mean, I was pretty far ahead, so it's all told, pretty happy with the run. Pretty happy with it.
It's wonderful, and so looking forward into the next round. What do you think you're going to adjust, if anything? Like, how How are you going to keep on doing attempts at HGC? Try to sort of work out the kinks of the transition. What's your thoughts going into the next round?
Well, the next round, definitely I'll be practicing Harrier. That's something that I need to practice, whether it's PC or HDC. So definitely before I go up against you, I'm gonna have to practice that Harrier fight. There's no doubt. It's night and day different from PC. I cannot use my sense of timing that I do on PC. I have to account for the lag. So at the very least, there's probably going to be an hour of just repeating Harrier until I can at least get a 4-shot somewhat consistently. 5-shot, I've only ever pulled off once on my platform of choice. So I'm not looking for that. But if I can get a 3 or 4-shot and then my, what's it called? The 2-shot. I don't even know what you call that. The 2-shot through the railing part of Harrier. I'd be happy with that.
It's like the die. I call it the die shots.
Die shots. That's a good name for it. That's much more succinct than what the hell I just called it. Yeah. So those 2 parts with Harrier, at least, so that it doesn't just turn into a where the hell did he go fest. That's pretty much it in terms of what I would really like to concentrate on. Everything else is just, I slipped up. I made a mistake. Rolling through the hole in the on my way to Shell 2 core was just whoops. There's nothing to practice there. That was just me not really. I got carried away with my first roll, and then everything just didn't line up well.
That can definitely be a trouble. Because when I was watching you, I was like, this looks a bit dicey.
After the second roll coming down the stairs, I'm like, uh-oh. That was pretty much all I had. It's like, I can't turn around, so cross my fingers and hope, and yeah, I fell in. But what else was there? Oh, Claymore going into Shell 1 core. I hit that at least 90% of the time now. I don't know why. I cannot consistently get around that. I know Box can help me get around that Claymore technically, but yeah, that's something else I wouldn't mind figuring out how to get out of, because yeah, that's about it.
And so, trying to wrap up the interview here. What can we expect from your channel in the next coming weeks? I know you've been having some pretty good success streaming this game. It's been a real pleasure watching you grow and learn in this game. It's pretty cool. So
yeah, I
what do you
appreciate
plan
that.
on next?
This game has definitely helped me out a lot in terms of growing my channel. People seem to really like watching me play it. I ended up shooting for the fastest category that exists for the game, which is also one of the least popular, and that's very easy on PC. Something about having the shortest time ever shown on a results screen on Metal Gear Solid 2, regardless of platform, whatever, that resonated with me. It was something I wanted. So I went for it, and I ended up getting it from Tyler. He ended up taking it back from me 2 weeks later, because that's how he rolls. And since then, it's been a grind to get that back. So I think following this tournament, I'm going to continue on that grind until I at least get a sub 108. My PB is 108.03 right now. I'm 3 seconds away from the sub 108. So whether or not I steal the world record back from Tyler in that category and that platform, I at least want a sub 108. And then what you can expect to see on my channel is what I actually started doing on my channel was story playthroughs of all the numbered Metal Gear Solid games. So Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4, and V. I know V isn't technically a numbered version, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, we're going to go back to doing that because I could take a break from the salty life that is speedrunning. And we'll be doing it in chronological order this time. So starting with 3, then 5, then 1, 2, 4. That's what will be happening once I get sub 108.
Fantastic, man. And is there anyone you want to shout out before close the interview out?
Yeah, definitely. Tyler, 100%. Like, I know he gets a lot of recognition here, but Tyler, right from my first run being submitted, has been a tremendous help. Wide open arms. Do you have any questions? Ask. He doesn't keep any of his strats secret for doing the ridiculous things he does in this game, sweeping all the boards. super helpful, both just one-on-one, and now he's doing some more video tutorials. That's great. Python's video tutorial was what I used to learn the run in the first place, so definitely shout out to Python as well. And the whole speedrunning community, anybody who runs this game, Plywood, you obviously, Jaguar King for his run at AGDQ, and everybody in the Mac Pack. That's what we call it. They're spamming Rexy Snakes in there right now. They've been, if it wasn't for them, speedrunning this game would be like punching myself in the face. But they keep me, grounded as much as I can be. The salt is kept at bay because I have an awesome community. So above all, thanks to you guys for hanging out with me and supporting me, because otherwise I'm just a 33-year-old man playing video games by himself. So thanks.
Thank you,
Mac,
man.
you've certainly got some fans. Like I can see it in chat right now. Out of all the tournaments I've commentated on, I don't think I've seen quite this much support. So yeah, shout out to your Mac Pack, because they are definitely showing their colors in chat today.
Yeah, they don't screw around. I didn't ask them to do this. This is all them. So, and thanks to you guys for putting this on. This has been fantastic. Anytime, like, other than Extreme, I'm not running Extreme, but any other tournaments that you guys decide to put on for this game specifically, count me in, guys.
Absolutely,
Well,
man.
Yeah, we look forward to it, man. And of course, you guys are going against each other. I just sort of realized that a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
But you guys are both the ones who are moving forward into what we're going to call the semifinals. And I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, me neither. Let's make a time, Plywood.
Absolutely, dude.
All right, you guys have a good day.
All right.
I'll be in
Thanks
the
for-
chat while Jesus finishes up his run there.
Later, man.
See ya.
Cool guy, really cool guy, and obviously he's got some good support today from his followers, subscribers. Really cool to see that.
And let's get back to it, guys, shall we? We're in the final stretch for Jesus. A few more things to do.
Yeah, and let's show some support for Jesus, because he's finishing this one up. It looked like he had maybe a little bit of a frustrating moment there with his save screen, but decided to keep going, and we think he's a good support for doing so.
Absolutely. It's like we were saying earlier, takes a lot of courage, guys. It's very easy for people to say, "Oh, I could do that better," and blah blah blah, but you have to get to that point, you have to put yourself out there. You have to put in the work. We have to.
Like I said earlier, we opened up MGS2 to the public server. Anybody can join, and this was the point. Is we wanted to grow, and we knew it was going to be a lot of work. Like I said, moderating this many people in a Discord server, and as I already mentioned, there is no closing hour for Discord. It's open 24/7. So yeah, there's been some guys out there, moderators, admins. They have to read through thousands of lines of text and images on Discord every week. And as I mentioned earlier too, it's been a pleasure, because we've met so many cool people, and there's some guys out there that are learning this game pretty darn quick. So yeah, this is really what we're trying to encourage. Is we're trying to get new people into the game, like Mac, like Jesus. Get some new blood into this pool. Give us some competition. So yeah, we're real proud of for Jesus for picking this one out and finishing his run, and being a participant in this tournament.
It looks like Jesus may not know the door trick, so he's just doing this the old-fashioned way with a lot of blood and guts.
Yeah, I think everybody has kind of a different way of learning a run, but some of the motivation for finishing a new run is just finishing it, getting to the credits, rolling the credits, and I'll pick up new things along the way.
that first run and first few runs of any game, whether you're just starting out with speedrunning or you're a speedrun vet, it's always challenging. 'Cause you're trying to find your way around a new game, a new area. And oh god, I'm worried about Snake here. Snake is not doing so well on health.
Don't die, Snake.
Snake,
You
please.
die on me.
He goes, oh no!
Oh
Snake's the
no.
one that's always like, you're alright. There he goes. Poor,
What's going on? Snake! Snake!
poor.
Yeah, I know you're working on a Parasite Eve speedrun right now on your stream, and I believe you mentioned that you just played it casually the first time through, just to get a feel for the mechanics.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I played the game back when I was probably too young to play the game. You know, it was one of those kinds of situations. But I really liked playing through it at the time, and really had a lot of fun with the game, and always intended on giving it a go. Played it casually a month ago. Be like, all right, this is how the game is. This is how the game plays. And then you go from there, honestly. I mean, an RPG run, quite different from running a game like this. I mean, I think the only game that you could somewhat call an RPG run in a weird way is Acid. I mean, it's a card game, but it's turn-based, so a lot of RPGs are turn-based. That sort of thing. And Acid's very, like, tactical, over the head, put your unit there, that kind of thing. That's like the closest Metal Gear has to an RPG that I know of. I don't really think of any others spin-off wise. Yeah, I've never really mentioning it before. I have not actually done Tengu 1 intentionally in so long. Once I knew this door trick, it's so hard.
It's hard, and they just keep dropping.
Whole hallway just gets caked in blood.
Yeah, look at that mess.
It is a mess, man.
It is
The
a
door-
graveyard.
I have not seen that door open forever.
Yeah.
And then the call happens here.
Normally we just go right through the door.
And then you get some.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned being too young to play a game. I remember playing MGS1. I was 12 in '98. And I remember thinking grown-up stuff, the conversations on the codex, just blah, 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 grown-up stuff. Let me get back to choking guards. Let me get back to the cool stuff. And yeah, I think I remember buying it. I asked a friend, I said, is there blood in it? That was kind of a big deal to me at the time. I wanted to see the blood, because Mortal Kombat was like the game in the mid '90s. It had blood, man, and it was a whole bunch of it. So yeah, I was really concerned about whether or not Metal Gear Solid 1 had blood. That was a big deal to my 12-year-old self.
You were 12 when I played the game? Guess what age I was when I played. I might have told you before.
When you played what?
When I played MGS1 or MGS.
Oh, MGS1?
Yeah, MGS1.
Were you like 8?
No, I was like 5. Like 5 or 6.
Kindergarten.
I was like, I was seriously
literally couldn't read.
Barely could read.
5-year-olds can read. Like, pretty simple things, though. I mean...
Yeah, stuff about nuclear warheads stuff. The war is the kind of thing a 5-year-old knows everything about.
You don't have to read. It's like watching a movie, I think.
Exactly. You don't need to. You just listen to them talk,
Yeah.
you watch the action, and then you play.
Man, 5 years old.
It was something like that. It was like 5 or 6. Something very, very
Just
low.
learning the alphabet, counting to 100.
Kojima taught me how
and
to...
gonna go play some Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play some Metal Gear Solid. I'm gonna learn how to read from Kojima.
Eat a Lunchable and go to bed. You know, call it a day.
Metal Gear Lunchables. Yay, ration.
Oh, could you imagine? It would have been collectible.
Oh yeah.
Like a moldy
stinky.
box of cheese with that
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid logo on it. There was some pretty cool stuff that was like for, you know, pre-order. I think it was part of the pre-order pack for MGS1. You can get a keychain, or I think there was even a Zippo lighter.
Yeah, they had all kinds of little merchandise collectibles stuff. These T-shirts, paints.
And yeah, if you go on eBay, you'll see it. That stuff goes for quite a bit of money now. The
Yeah,
Zippo lighter, that I would want that. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty badass.
Yes.
You know what would be really cool is that the Nintendo GameCube that came with Twin Snake. The Japanese Nintendo GameCube has like I think it has like the Foxhound logo or something on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Jesus, oh Jesus! Finally, he's here. He's at the Rays.
He's gonna finish.
He is going to finish, and that is the biggest thing in any run, really.
What was it? I did a lot of 3-hour runs when I started EE. One of them was 4 hours. My first ones. But even after I knew, you know, like door strat and stuff like that, I was still doing. I had a lot of 2:53s, 2 hours and 53 minutes. I was like, this is the time I couldn't beat for a long time. And then I started getting down. I got sub 2 hours. Even for the most part, I was doing a lot of 2-hour even runs. It took a while, it really did. I think eventually I got down to, even on a bad day, it was still about an hour and 50 minutes. But you know, it made it pretty easy because I liked the game. Just wanted to play it.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things with speedrunning, actually wanting to play the game. For some reason, at least. I mean, people play games for all kinds of reasons, not necessarily because they love them. But
I think there's some guys out there that are just sort of like serial speedrunners. Like they're just, next game, what's the next one? Next world record. What's the next game? Moving on. And you know, there's guys that really like meme games.
Are you like trying to describe me right now?
Yeah, very.
Are you trying to say something, buddy? Like I'm like checking all the boxes.
Yeah, that's
right
me.
Now.
Me. No, you like the games that you're playing.
Yeah, most of them. That is true. And the ones that I really don't like, I pretty much just stop running pretty quickly.
And most of your games kind of come from about the same era too, right? PS1, early PS2 era.
Yeah, a lot of them are PlayStation games, but I mean, I've run the gamut from now. I think Strider came out in '89. I mean, Strider is such a huge speedrun now. I was like, I'm gonna get on this. 89 to now, well, 2017 really, because of RE7. But a lot of them are the 90s. I think what games you run really kind of tells you what kind of a person you're dealing with. Some people like running games from the 2000s, the 80s, the 90s, and usually you have some sort of association with that era, some way.
I think I run the games that I wanted to play, but I couldn't afford. You know, like during the 90s, I didn't have any money. Kid. 12. But I would play the demo disc, so I knew MGS1 pretty well because I just would play that Pizza Hut demo disc over and over. It was kind of a nice thing about the 90s is like demos they would just give them away. They came in magazines. You'd share them with your friends, like you'd have a demo disc and you'd give it to one of your friends at school and he'd give you different one, and almost kind
We
of
had a stack of them, dude. Like they were in a freaking Tupperware container. Fortunately, they disappeared, but it was a stack of demo discs. Just crazy. Like they were in a freaking Tupperware container. And funny thing, they disappeared, but it was one of the discs, those PlayStation Magazine demo discs, had Silent Hill and Rugrats on it, and I run both games. It was such a weird combo as well that you'd have Silent Hill demo and a Rugrats demo, same disc. It's like two very, very different games in tone.
As Jesus finishes up there on the raise. Yeah, and you know, they always say too that like some of these demo discs were the demos that they gave you were quite a bit of the game. You know, MGS1, they got you all the way up to the game was pretty much finished when they did that demo. And I think they took you all the way up to DARPA Chief. They give you a pretty good chunk of the game to mess around in. A lot of rooms.
Yeah, and that helipad is definitely a playground. So, and I wonder, oh God, Jesus no! Oh God, Jesus no! The O2 bar just like felt like a brick. I was really worried there.
Oh, he just saved it.
Saving it.
It's not him I want the answers from.
Yeah, I had the demo disc for on PS2. When PS2 first came out, they still were doing the demo discs. They did Off-Road Fury, ATV Off-Road Fury. They had like 2 courses, 4 different bikes too. There was like no reason to buy the game. Me and my friends would just play that demo over and over. It had 2-player support. You know, it was really good.
Oh, I'm interested in how Jesus is gonna approach this fight. This could be a very epic confrontation.
Yeah, this was a hard fight when I was learning the game. I think I went into it casually. I just couldn't finish it. It wasn't until I learned about the loop, you know, or looping him that I could even finish it.
The S3 is a
The S3 is something. So here we go once again with Solid as the final confrontation.
Seems odd to me that they do Solid as last. I guess it makes sense if you think about the story. Destroy him while he's in Metal Gear. What in a cutscene. Fight the Metal Gears while they're all raised when they're all AI controlled. I think as far as like difficulty goes, it's like the Ray fight is like the true ending. Or at least it is for me. Once that part's over, then the game really is over. Though all this fight hardly ever failed at.
Yeah, though this fight is, I mean, it's an epic samurai fight with the former president of the United States on Federal Hall. And a lot of people kind of look down on the fact that, you know, originally this fight was supposed to happen on Liberty Island, I believe, the Statue of Liberty. But 9/11 happened, and this game changed quite a bit because of 9/11. It's definitely a game of its era in that way. Certainly,
that had to kill Kojima. That he's making the game about New York, and he can't tell his true vision. I think he had a cutscene with like Ray just destroying New York, just knocking down buildings and almost Godzilla-like, these things just stomping around, causing havoc, and that was pretty cool to him.
Yeah, and it's touchy. I mean, yeah, you also have to consider that this game was really pushing boundaries in other ways, and then to add that kind of controversy on top of all the other controversy of this game could have potentially been very disastrous. So I can understand why they made they did. Honestly, I actually really like this the fight on Federal Hall. I think it's still a really fitting setting for this fight compared to having in Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, and when he kind of falls into the street, it transitions really seamlessly into the end of the game. All of a sudden, just crowds appear, like he's in this simulation, and someone just flips the switch, kind of back in real life. Really, a lot of ways to interpret this game too, this story-wise, which is sort of the beautiful thing about it.
Ooh! Oh, got hit by that double overhead. But he was actually doing a bit of a loop on Solidus. 2 slashes. Make him counter. Rinse, repeat. Jesus, learning a little bit about that fight at the end, it seemed. Kudos to Jesus with a completed run of MGS2. HDC on 360.
Yeah, rolling the credits here on MGSR. Hopefully that's not the last time we see him roll the credits on this game. Forward to seeing his runs in the future. And yeah, if we can get him, we're gonna try to contact him on Discord and see if we can get him to come and do an interview. Tell us a little bit more about himself and his run and how he feels about it.
That's it.
That's the great thing about speedrunning. It doesn't matter what level you're at.
I think I found something to
A lot of people, they'll support you
What?
because it's a personal challenge. It's not about other people. Really, at the end of the day, it's about you.
About the baby?
Being able to
Yeah.
conquer something for yourself, that's the meaningful part.
There are too many things that aren't written into our DNA. It's up to us.
It's up to us
Yeah.
to teach that to fellow speedrunners, Forensic.
Kind of things.
You're pretty good at that, aren't you?
I mean, you've listened to this enough. Start finding variations on it, because you have to listen to it.
Sorrow, joy. We'll tell them.
Are you talking about the baby?
Together.
Is that a proposal?
Forensic, this is for your ears
Tears
only,
only.
Aw.
and everyone watching. Don't tell anyone else.
Nobody laugh at this.
I'm gonna ask Jesus if he wants to do an interview.
I stare at the stars and the sky up above.
Yeah, it sounds like he wants to do one, and I'll take this interview since you took the last one.
Sweet.
Made
Then I'll take a breather. Let you carry us home, man.
am I hurt and
How I like to do it.
or
You know me too well.
am I filled with love? I walk by myself on
Is that him?
the
G
streets
D and Chill Lounge.
and ask every child I know. Do you think tomorrow
Hello.
will bring sun or rain? Which one of these will show? I can't say goodbye
What'd you say?
Out of the darkness,
Hey guys.
How's it going?
is no
Doing good. Who am I chatting with? I'm using my phone
This
for the
this is
speedrunning.
Forensic. This is Jesus, right?
yeah. Yes, sir. The juiciest
Alright.
Jesus.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. It didn't say you don't have the same name in Discord. But yeah, good game on the run. Rolling the credits for us here on MGSR.
Thank you very much.
How did it go in your own words?
I mean, as far as runs of this game go, this is probably the fastest I've ever done it. I had like the same problems I've been having before, which is that I can't sit for 4 hours without having, or 3 hours without having to go to the bathroom, which is the worst.
Yeah, I can speak to the same.
I think, I tried to make the best of everything I had. I think the biggest mistake I made was when I was climbing strut E for Fat Man the first time. I went in with an alert and I just was like, oh, I'll just start the room over, not thinking that it would start me from the beginning of the timer because of how that section works.
How
And
long
then-
have you been how long have you been running MGS2?
I have completed 2 runs now. The first completed run was yesterday. I practiced the first half of the game a bunch slightly before AGD. I mean, I just tried to like cram it in.
So 2 runs. Was this a PB today?
Yes, it should be because my previous time was 3 hours 45 seconds.
Now we were mentioning it during the stream, but we're awfully proud of you for finishing a run here and for participating in this tournament.
Thank you.
What I had said earlier was that we opened up MGSR to the public to teach the knowledge of running Metal Gear Solid games, and this was the point. There was going to be a lot of work, but we wanted to get new runners, new competitors, and hopefully it inspired guys like yourself to pick up the game, start learning it. How did you hear of MGSR?
I'm friends with Python through our buddy Dr. Dubious. Shout out to Pythonicus and Dr. Dubious. They're pretty good friends. Anyways, so I started following Python, and then I think I just was in his stream one day when he was doing PB attempts, and it had the information for the tournament, and I was like, well, I have the game on Xbox, and I've got 3 months to learn it. Might as well. And then I promptly wasted all of that time, but
We're still glad that you joined the tournament and that you showed up and raced, and I don't know a lot about you, but I can tell you that you're a class act for finishing the race. You're a good sport.
Thank you.
And obviously you're a streamer. I've got your channel up here. That's how I'm capturing it. What can we expect to see from your channel in the next coming weeks?
Well, oh god, I think I want to go back to doing some Dark Souls, because I promised myself I would only stream it, just so I had a game that I completed on stream. And that took a backseat to Metal Gear about a month ago. So I want to get back into that. I want to work on Metal Gear 2 some more. Definitely 3 hours can be improved. Can be cut in half.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my first run was 4 hours. So you already beat me there.
And I think the big thing I like to focus on is Super Mario World. Just I don't know, so much nostalgia.
Speedrunning or just playing casually?
I'm currently casually running Kurosu Mario World to eventually speedrun it, which is just like a Kaizo hack.
And I guess going back to MGS2, did you watch any tutorials, or was it mostly just watching Python?
Yeah, actually, Python's front to back normal guide, which is on speedrun.com, which if you're like planning on getting into the game, I would 100% suggest taking a look at. That helped me out a bunch. I also like watched about half of it when it aired, when I should have been asleep. Who's awake when the sun's up? Am I right?
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about. We're going to do another race here in about 3 hours. And we're already have nicknamed that one Metal Gear Late Night. Because it's going to be in the middle of the night.
Oh my god. Alright, hold on. Oh, okay, here's another thing. When I was in Strut E and I forgot to grab the PSG-1, I slapped myself in the face, and my glasses, which I had glued back together slightly earlier, broke. So I played like the second half of the game with broken glasses.
Oh, interesting. So you didn't even have vision for the second half of the game.
Yep. Just
I can tell you that forgetting the PSG in one, we all were in agreement there that that's happened to everybody. It doesn't matter what point of your MGS2 run you're at. Everybody has forgotten that at some point. So yeah, don't feel too bad. Well, I've got to say, you're a world class act. I was really happy that I was able to get you in an interview. I know it's not always easy to talk about a run after you've lost or been eliminated from a tournament, but I think you're a good sport for coming on and talking to us. And we've got your final time here up on the screen. It's 2:16:55, and 17 continues, 21 alerts, and so on. That is your PB, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna go ahead and put your Twitch channel up in chat so people can give you a follow. And as you mentioned before, more Dark Souls, some Super Mario World, and possibly some other things too. But yeah, I think you're a class act, and it was really nice to have you in this tournament and here on this interview. Before we go though, anybody you want to shout out to?
Well, shout out to Mac for racing me. It was an honor to race you as well, my dude. Sorry I never wished you good luck, but you didn't need it. Shout out to Python for getting me into this, and shout out to literally everyone watching for watching and taking an interest. And shout out to you guys as well for throwing this tournament. Like, I probably never would have tried running MGS2 for real if I didn't have to, like, just sit down and actually fucking.
And it rightfully timed that we're ending the stream now. It sounds like you got a call coming in, but it's been a pleasure to have you on our stream and in our tournament, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Cool. Thank you very much, Forensic. You guys have yourselves a great night. And with that, I do actually have to go. I gotta do some dishes and go to work.
All right, man. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
That is it for us tonight, or at least
not really.
not really.
We're taking a brief break. Like,
how much?
Less than 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours again. We'll be back on air with another race. I think you're gonna do the lead commentary on this one. Getting a little late for me. I'm still gonna be, I'll give myself producer credit as I'm gonna do the restream, but I think it's gonna be you and Tyler commentating the next one.
Definitely. And if not Tyler, we'll find someone winky face to help out with the commentary. But yeah.
We always do.
Always.
So see you guys in 2 hours for myself, for Plywood, and our two runners. Thank you.
Thank you.